Let's predict week 10 of the NFL season, man. I don't know how the fuck is already week 10. Let's not try not to focus on that. You feel what I'm saying? Then we're going to like go through a whole psychosis. You feel what I'm saying? Let's just focus on these slate of games. And let's start with the game that happened last night. That absolute stink fest. 7-10, my nigga. All the Thursday night games, well, the most of the Thursday night games we begin this year have been bangers, have been fire. We got the Unk Bowl recently. We got the first Thursday night game between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Those are just two examples off the top of the dome. We get this shit? Really? 10-7, my nigga? As good as the Broncos defense is, I don't know, bruh. The Raiders just might be even worse. Like, that game really didn't impress me whatsoever as like a bystander, as someone who's neutral as hell on both teams or the Broncos. Like, I still think the Chiefs are going to win the division. Hot take? I don't know. Now that we got that out the way, let's get into the slate of games, man. Saints v. Panthers. Is this really even a conversation? Panthers, next question. The Saints shouldn't want to win this game. You should not want to win. And we got our first Berlin game of the year between the Colts and the Falcons. This game is going to be interesting because the Falcons are the definition of mid, but at the same time, their mid is like a very specific kind of mid to where they could play up or they could play down. And the Colts are coming off their second loss of the season, but they just got Sauce Gardner. I'm going to go with the Colts. My Chicago Bears versus the New York Football Giants. The Bears looked awesome on offense last week. Our defense was highly questionable. But I don't trust the Giants defense whatsoever. I do think they're probably going to put up a little bit of points on this. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a high-scoring game again. But I do think the Bears are going to take the dub. Now, Ravens versus Vikings should be a good game. J.J. McCarthy looked way better than he did week 1, or at least the first 3 quarters against the Bears, and week 2 against the Falcons. But the Ravens are cooking with fish grease, and I think that streak is going to continue. Not sadly, what the fuck am I talking about? The Vikings will be losing to the Ravens. They will be. The Seahawks versus the Cardinals is probably one of the games I care the least about this week, to be completely honest with y'all. Maybe Jacoby Brissett proves that he's a better starter option than Kyler Murray and gets his dub for the Cardinals, but in reality, the Seahawks defense is just way too good. JSN is continuing his monster season, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see maybe even put a bet on it. Hell, I don't know. Don't use me for your betting needs, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not the guy, but I could see a Rashid Shaheed touchdown this week. I can see him taking the top off the defense. I know I kind of did that weird going from the 1 o'clocks to the 4 o'clocks, but don't blame me. Blame the NFL for this weird-ass post. We're going to stick with the other 1 o'clocks. Let's go with the Jags versus the Texans. I think the Texans are one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL, but there's one thing that's pretty consistent about them right now. It's that defense, and I don't know if I trust Trevor Lawrence enough to get them the dub. I hope he does because I'm starting him in fantasy this week because Mahomes is on bye, but unfortunately, I do think the Texans are probably going to give the Jaguars belt, which is kind of weird because I should probably take them out of my starting lineup. Huh? The Bills versus the Dolphins. Now, the last game they played was actually a good one, but I don't think that's going to continue. I think the Dolphins were just playing with some extra fire earlier in the season after the trades they just made. After realizing they just aren't good, I think the Bills are going to win this one pretty handedly. This is probably my lock of the week. We'll move down to the Browns versus the Jets. Ass versus booty cheeks. Stinky versus butt juice. I don't really care who wins this game. This isn't going to affect anything but the number 1 pick odds. And if I'm a Jets fan and I'm a Browns fan, to be honest, I want to lose this game. So who is better at losing close games? Who is better at losing ugly games? I think it's the Jets. So I think the Browns are going to get this dub. Bucks at Patriots. This is probably one of the top 3 games of the week, to be honest. I think this is going to be a huge game for the Patriots to show us, are they for real, or has their schedule just been easy as fuck? It's been easy as fuck, but they could still be for real. And the Bucks, they're dealing with all their injuries, but they're always dealing with injuries, and Baker Mayfield is playing at such a high level. I'm going to go with the Bucks here. I think if the Patriots finally start to cool off a little bit and those Drake May MVP conversations, they go from it just come down a little bit. You feel me? Let's get back to the 4 o'clock games. We're going to go to the Rams, the 49ers. Last time they had a game, another Thursday night absolute banger that the Rams should have won. So I think the Rams are going to come out. They're going to be firing on all cylinders. They're going to be wanting their get back for the last game. Plus, they kind of need it because this 1-1 tiebreaker would be huge for the final season standings. I'm going to go with the Rams here. The Lions should win this game easily. Marcus Mariota has looked worse every single start that he's played in this year. The Commanders are injured and old. Give me the Lions easily. Another hard game to choose is going to be the Steelers and the Chargers because I can see this going many ways because just like I mentioned with the Falcons before, I think the Steelers are just like high mid version of those Falcons. I think they could beat anybody. I think they could lose to anybody. And the Chargers are just dealing with so many key injuries. Joe all gone for most of the season now. It's tough. It's tough. But I do think I'm going to go with the Steelers here. They're on the roll. They just beat the Colts. I think they're going to keep that streak going with a Chargers win. And last but not least, what could be the game of the week? The Eagles versus the Packers. Last time they played, it was a banger. It could be a banger all over again. But as a resident Packers hater myself, I will never pick them to win the game on here. Never. So I'm going to go with the Eagles to win by 30. But yeah, man, that's my NFL picks for week 10. I want to hear y'all's in the comments down below. Do you agree with mine? Do you not agree with mine? Let's talk about it. Simple.